very good afternoon, guys. Today we start with FA6 and I am taking the first chapter, that is accounting of banking companies. In this, again like the other subjects, you all have total 5 chapters. First, accounting for banking companies. Then you have accounting for general insurance companies, valuation of goodwill and shares, accounting for LLP, that is limited liability partnership, and then you have NBFC, that is non-banking financial corporation. The last one is very small, but the other 4 they have more of formatting. NBFC also has a format, but that format is similar to what you all have done in FA5 in Companies Act. Anyway, gradually we'll take one by one the chapter of FA6. Today we start with accounting of banking companies. Now listen, in banking companies the chapter is divided into few parts. First part, there is a concept of rebate on bill discount. We call it as rebate ka part. That is based on your SYGC. If you will recollect, SYGC mein you all had done a chapter called as bills of exchange. After you draw the bill, one option the drawer has, he can go to the bank and get the bill discounted. The entire concept is based on that. What we did in SYGC was from the drawer point of view. What we are going to study now is from the bank point of view. That will take around 2 to 3 classes, say around 4 to 5 videos max. Then there will be a concept of NPA and its provision. NPA is non-performing asset. When we come to the relevant day, that time I'll tell you in detail what is there. And then there is final accounts of banking companies. Now when I say final accounts, this is a pure format based chapter. Like how in TYBAF you all had company ka final accounts. There was a specific format of P&L. There was a specific format of balance sheet. Same way, banks have a specific format of their profit and loss account and their balance sheet. Now in final accounts, they can ask you anything. They can ask you sums only on P&L. They can ask you sums only on balance sheet, or they can ask you full-fledged sum which includes P&L and balance sheet. Till today, only once a full-fledged sum has come of P&L and balance sheet, that also a straightforward sum. But we are going to study each and everything what is a part of your syllabus. As and when we go across the chapter, I'll keep on explaining you the relevant parts. Now, let's focus on the first part what I told you, which we call it as rebate, and it is a concept which is based on discounting of bill of exchange. Now, as I told you earlier, starting with that, it is based on discounting. Now, before we see the transaction from bank's point of view, let's see what we did in SYGC. What are the first step? We used to draw a bill on debtors. Now, when I draw the bill on debtors, what entry I pass? Bill receivable is created. You don't have to pass this entry. We'll just see what we did in SYGC. Then the same thing we will see from the angle of bank. When I draw the bill, I pass the entry bill receivable to my debtors. Because debtors comes into picture when the goods are sold on credit, and bill receivable comes into picture when there are debtors. Let's assume the amount as 1 lakh. So I draw a bill of 1 lakh on my debtors. After drawing the bill as a creditor, in this transaction I am the creditor of the debtor. I have to recover from him, he has to pay to me. I draw a bill on him, he will sign it. You all have done, remember SYGC with pro forma. He will sign it and give it to me back. After I take the bill, I have 4 options. Either I get the bill discounted with the bank, I endorse it, or I send to the bank for collection. Other options also there. But let's take the first option, discounting. Now what is discounting? Let's assume the period of bill is 3 months. I have to take this 1 lakh from my debtor after 3 months. So he will pay me this 1 lakh after 3 months. Now I am in urgent need of money. I am in urgent need of money. I tell him, can you please pay me 1 lakh today? If you pay me today, I'll give you 1,000 or a 2,000 ka discount. I will give the offer to him. He will say no. Don't worry about your money. I'll pay you when the period of 3 months come. But right now, I don't have the money to pay you. And no problem, I don't need discount. I will pay you after 3 months. I said, okay, fine, you cannot force that person. Now, I need the money today. So what I will do, I will take this bill of 1 lakh and go to a bank or a financial institution. But generally people approach bank. You can also approach financial institution, but let's focus on bank because we are doing accounting of banking companies. I take the bill, go to the bank. Bank will pay me money. So I will get money from bank. I will debit bank account. Now, if bank is paying me money, this is the discounting ka transaction. Bank is also doing business. So they will not do this transaction free for me. They will charge me something. Let's say they charge me 2,000. So what bank will do? From this 1 lakh, they will deduct 2,000. So they will give me 98,000 in hand. So to enjoy this 1 lakh, 3 months before the date, can I say I spent 2,000 rupees? Had I got the money after 3 months, I would have got 1 lakh rupee. Now, I am getting the money 3 months before. So for that, I have to shell out 2,000. So that 2,000 for me is an expense which we will debit discount. When I got the bill from debtors, I debited bill receivable. Now I will give the bill to the bank because bank will have the possession now. So from my side, bill goes out. So I will credit bills receivable. So bank debit, the net amount what I receive from bank after deduction of discount. Discount I will debit and I will give the bill to the bank. Got it? Now, after this what happens? On the due date, I got the bill discounted. The holder of the bill is bank because bank gave me the money. So the bill will be with the bank. Now this debtor who was supposed to pay me after 3 months, this debtor who was supposed to pay me after 3 months will now have to make this payment of full 1 lakh to the bank. He will have to make the payment of 1 lakh to the bank. If he pays, fine, transaction is over. But if he doesn't pay, bank will catch me. The reason is, bank has paid me 98,000. Bank says it's okay, fine, I need 1 lakh. Whether your drawee pays or whether you pay, I am not concerned. I want 1 lakh rupees. So if my drawee pays that 1 lakh to the bank, it's fine. If not, I will pay. So what will happen? The next entry, what we used to pass, whether honor or dishonor, bank is not concerned because what I told you, on the due date, bank will get 1 lakh. Either the drawee will pay. If the drawee doesn't pay, I will pay. So bank will get that money. So bank point of view, that transaction is not that important. Of course, that entry will also come, but not now. In the third or the fourth video, it will come. Okay, guys. Now listen. This is what we did in SYGs. Now, let's see the same thing from the bank point of view. Let's see the same thing from bank point of view. First transaction, what I have done, I have drawn a bill on my debtors. Now this is a transaction between me and my debtor. This is a transaction between me and my debtor. Bank is not concerned. Bank will come into picture when I go to the bank and give them the bill for discount. Okay guys, now understand this concept very carefully. because in this video I'm just making you understand the concept. When I start the first sum, if possible I'll take it in the same video, otherwise I'll take it in the next video. Now see, so as I told you, this transaction bank is not concerned. Now I will go to the bank. See here, from my side bill went out, so I credited bill receivable. I have given the bill to the bank, so I credited BR. Now can I say bank is receiving, so bank should debit? But for me, this discounting is a one-off transaction. For bank, it is day-to-day business. Like us, there will be thousands and lakh of customers who will come with the discounting of bill. So when the bank receives, they will debit an account called as bill discounted and purchase account. Bill discounted and purchase account, that is 1 lakh. Got it? So here 1 lakh का credit, यहाँ पे I did. Remember, this is not in your syllabus, but I am just making you compare so you get a concept in a much better way. Here, now see, I got this money from bank, therefore I debited bank account. Now when I say I got this money from bank, definitely when bank has paid me, then only I'll get. Na? If somebody is paying me money, I will get only when that person has paid me. So can I say they will have to record the entry for payment? For them money goes out. Remember, even if you're a bank, you will have a bank account. Either it will be your own bank or current account, or it will be with other branches, your head of, if it's a branch, your head office, or practical life mein, there are some banks who are supposed to open an account with other banks. So even the banks, when they receive money, when they pay money, they use bank account. So bank will make the payment. I got 98. Bank has paid me 98. Only when the bank will pay me 98, here I will get 98. Correct? Now listen. To get this 98, I spent 2000 rupees. To get this 98, I spent 2000. For me, it was an expense. For me, it was an expense. Can I say for me, it is an expense? So for the bank, it will be an income. For me, it is an expense. For bank, it's an income. Basics of FYJC. Debit the losses and expenses. Here it was an expense, I debited. Credit the gains and income. Here it will be an income. So here, their discount was debited. Now I will credit, and here I will use the word to discount on bill discounted account, that is 2000. To discount on bill discounted account, that is 2000. Got it? So see, the same transaction we understood from our point of view, and this we are doing it from the bank point of view. Clear with this? So this is the entry which bank will pass. In each and every sum, what we are going to do for the first 2-3 classes, this entry will be there. Got it? Now see, as I told you when I started this video, that this part is called as rebate. Now there's a difference between discount and rebate as far as this chapter is concerned. We have not yet come across rebate. Now understand this very carefully. Assume this transaction is not for one customer, this is for the whole year. Okay. Now listen, first, whatever chapters you all are having FA6, I told you, banking, insurance, LLP, NBFC, all have to follow accrual system of accounting. All have to follow accrual system of accounting, and the year will be financial year. You all know that financial year is that which starts from 1st April and will end on 31st March. 31st, let's assume 1st April 21 to 31st March 22 is my current year. Okay, now listen. Assume this transaction is for the full year. That is what we are going to do in the sum also. Now I am coming to the rebate part. What do you mean by rebate? How much is my discount ka income? 2000. You all have done in F5JC say. There is an item called as income received in advance. Prepaid expense, we use the word when we pay in advance. But when we receive any income in advance, we call it as income received in advance. When we prepare the balance sheet, normally it goes on the liability side. Now listen very carefully. As I told you, banks will also follow accrual system of accounting, or we call it as mercantile. That means what? You will debit the expenses, you will credit the incomes according to the period to which it belongs. Accrual or mercantile system method says you will debit the expenses and credit the incomes according to the period to which it belongs. Now understand this. I received this income of 2000. Now, after the year gets over, the income what will appear in my discount account. After the year gets over, the income which appears in my discount account will be that which is for the current year. Will be that which is for the current year. If something is not for the current year, I will remove it from here. If something is not for the current year, I will remove it from here. Okay? Now, that income which doesn't belong to my current year and which belongs to the next year which is yet to come, that year will be called as rebate or rebate on bill discount. When I start the sum, the main calculation will be first, how do you calculate rebate? Of course, I am giving you a direct answer here. Now, I am just assuming this is my year. I have received 2000. Out of that 2000, 500 is the income for next year. 500 is the income for next year. So what I have to do? This 2000 is the income what I have credited. But out of this 2000, 500 belongs to the next year. So can I say my current year ka income is only 1500? So what I'll have to do? I'll have to remove it from here. Now, you all know very well, F5JC you all are doing accounts. Once you record the entry, if there is a mistake, you cannot cancel it. You have to rectify the entry or make adjustment. So what I do? I credited discount by 2000. Now I know 500 is the discount for the next year. So I remove it. How I remove? Here I have credited. So the same account I will debit. So the same account I will debit amount 500. Each and every sum we have to calculate how you got this 500, but here I have made your job easier by mentioning the amount 500. So what will happen now? See, discount credit 2000, debit 500. So net discount credit is 500. And now this is my income for the next year. So this I will transfer to an account called as rebate on bill discount. Bill discounted. Getting it? Understand this? Once you get this, the remaining part of the sums, you will find it very simple because you have understood the concept. Then the only new part will be how to calculate this 500. They will give you 4 or 5 bill ka amount. For each and every transaction, we will have to calculate the rebate. Okay? So this is what you will do. Again, I will repeat. Discount credited 2000, which includes 500 for the next year. So I debit discount by 500 and credit rebate on bill discount. Clear with this? Now listen guys. F5JC ka basic. At the end of the year, each and every expense or income goes to trading and P&L. Banking company doesn't have trading. They have only P&L. What discount is my income? What we discussed. Credit of 2000, debit of 500. So can I say my net income is 1500? So this 1500 is my final income. Credit of 2000, debit of 500. So there is net credit of 500. So what I will do, I will debit discount on bill discounted. For the bank, it is an income. When you prepare final accounts, all incomes go on the credit side of P&L. So you will credit your P&L by 1500. You will credit your P&L by 1500. Initially, for the first two sums, there are 4 entries, of which these are the 3. And the 4th entry, which I'll explain you now, you have to start the sum with that entry. But before you do that, you should know this concept. Then only that entry will become easier. Got it? And again, I'm repeating what I've repeated since my FYGC. Please don't mug up the entries. Try to understand the logic. Okay? So see, these are the 3 entries. First, bill discounted, then rebate adjustment, discount, transfer it to P&L. Got it now? Now listen. The next entry, which is not for the current year. When I go to the next year, I have to start with that. Now what you have to do? Listen. Can I say out of that 2000, 500 is my income for the next year? So now when I go to the next year, 500 is that particular income. What entry I recorded here? I debited discount and I credit rebate. Now can I say discount will be the income of that next year, this 500. That next year will have other discount plus this 500. So what I do? The second entry, what I have passed, when I go to the next year, on the first day of the next year, I will reverse this. Here I debited discount. Why? Because out of 2500 was for the next year. Now I have come to the next year. So now this discount will be an income. So I will credit discount. And this rebate I credited because it was received in advance for the next year. Now I have gone in the next year. So now rebate account also has to be cancelled, because previous year I created rebate because I got in advance. Now I am in the next year to which it belongs. So now there is nothing in advance. So in short, it will be the reversal of the second entry. So what I do? Rebate on bill discounted account debit 500 to discount on bill discounted 5 to discount on bill discounted 500. Clear? Got the logic? Again I am repeating. This 500 I debited discount because it was for the income which is yet to come. When I go in the next year, I am there in the next year now. 500 belongs to this year. So reverse this. So initially 2 sums what we are solving. These are the 4 entries. But when we start, we'll have to start with this. Because what I told you, when I go to the next year, I'll start with this. So every year I'll have to start with this. So when we start the sum, of course after doing that rebate calculation, because here I gave you the amount 500, later on you have to calculate. So you will start with this entry, then discounting, then rebate adjustment and transfer of discount to P&L. Therefore I explained you in this order, because had I explained you this in the starting, 90% it would have gone bouncer. So you have to go logically. Getting it? So this is the concept of discount. Then there will be additional entries for honoring of bill. That is straightforward. I am not getting into that because it is not there for the first 2 sums. That when I go to the third and the fourth sum, that time we will see. Now here there will be three things. First, the most important part, calculation of rebate. Here I gave you straight away 500. We have to first calculate the rebate of the current year. That will be the first one. After calculating the rebate, then you will have to pass these 4 entries, and after that you will have to make ledger accounts. In your syllabus for this part, you just have to make 2 ledger accounts. One is discount on bill discounted and the other is rebate. So just 4433, 449 ka 2 accounts are there. Got it? And as I told you, I go in the next year with this entry. So when I am passing the entries for the current year, this entry will be for last year ka rebate. What you have to calculate is current year ka rebate. So last year ka rebate, the amount has to be given to you in the question, because without that you cannot pass this entry. Got it, guys? So I have explained you 75% of the concept. Once you get this, the solving of sum becomes very simple. The new point will be calculation of rebate, then journal same, and ledger accounts. Ledger accounts you all know very well. Once you know the journal, ledger is nothing but just the posting of the journal. Okay, and I am repeating again because I am winding up this video. I will take the sum in the next video. What is rebate? Rebate comes into picture when some part of the discount goes in the next year. In the question they will give you due dates. So rebate will be calculated only for those bills jiska due date goes in the next year. If the due date is in the current year, it's an income of the current year only. So only in those cases where the due date goes in the next year, rebate will be calculated. Okay guys, now if I take the full sum in this video, it will get too much extended. So I'm just winding this video, and the sum I'm taking in the next video.